Okay, guys. So again, I want to welcome you to our January masterclass for content for bosses. And today, what we are talking about is we really are talking about clarity, right? And we're talking specifically, guys, about how to use clarity in your business and as you are talking to your clients, how to really be able to use that for conversion. I know a lot of times, the number one thing that a lot of people say is that they don't really know what is going on or what, kind of those underlying issues are that they're having in their business to try to convert, their current clients from where they are to actually taking action in their business overall. And so I want to kind of give you guys a peek behind the curtain, if you will, and I want to, hopefully help you guys out with some of the things that I have been hearing and some of the things that have definitely, helped a lot of my clients and hopefully will help you as well. So before we get to all of that great stuff, let me just make sure that we are good to go, which I believe, yes, we are. Fantastic, fantastic. So let's go ahead and let's get the housekeeping stuff out of the way. So there are a couple of things that I wanted to just really quickly share with you guys overall, just for our community as a whole. And then there are some things that I want to kind of set the expectations of as far as how we are moving forward for our community and some things that you guys should know that we have coming on the horizon as well. So one of the reasons why we are really kind of ramping up our master classes inside of the community is this is a way that is a little bit more formalized, where I can come on and really teach some content and engage with you guys and give you guys some information. But even more than that, it is also where we can just have that kind of uninterrupted time where I can give you guys updates in real time about the Mac Institute and everything that we have going on. A lot of things you guys will hear first just by being a part of our community as well. At the beginning of the year, I just want to share a couple things with you guys. So I started drafting an email and I thought, let me just, come on and share this with you guys. So at the very beginning of the year, we had all of this stuff rolled out, right? And so one of the things that was rolled out was, these types of master classes and just a whole slew of other things. And literally, you guys saw my post within our community, but literally what happened right before the top of the year is my grandmother passed. And, they always say that we plan and, God kind of laughs at us, right? And that's what happened. I had my year ready to rock and roll, ready to move forward, all of this amazing stuff happening. And I had to kind of put things on pause and, be with my family and do all of that. And I'm sharing that with you guys because a lot of times what happens in our lives is that, those are the types of things that are unexpected, right? Like we never, can plan for things like that, etc. But one of the things that I'm crystal clear about is you want to make sure, number one, that your business is set up to sustain that. But number two, sometimes it is really in divine order. And I believe that in that season for the beginning of the year, it truly was. Because whereas a lot of people was, staying up, the beginning of the year and really off running, I kind of took a step back. And that was the first time. I didn't realize this. It was really the first time that I allowed myself to do that. Because I'm like many of you, I got my resolutions, I got my notebook out, I have all my events lined up. Listen, I'm ready to rock and roll. And so it forced me into this place to just be still a little bit and to be very present, right? To be really, really present with with my loved ones. And that is something, honestly, that I don't even really like that I'm saying this, but it's true, just to be transparent. That's something that I did not take a lot of time to do in a long term, kind of standpoint. And so what it did is it kind of forced me and it brought me back to the basics of what is important in life. And it brought me back to, how I want to spend my time and where I want to focus things. And it really brought me back to my why, the core of my why, and clarity behind what it is that I'm doing. And so I truly believe, again, that every single thing that we do happens for a reason. And so that's why I wanted to really kick off our masterclass, the first masterclass of January inside of our community. I wanted to kick that off, guys, coming from a place of clarity. Because if you know anything, you know that you cannot create a successful business. You can't have messaging around your business without truly having that point of clarity around what you're doing, and more importantly, around why and how you're showing up for your clients. And I find that as simple as that sounds, like as really as simple as that sounds, it can be a little bit tough for most people to grasp. And so today, my goal is that at the end of our time together, right, at the end of our session, you will truly understand, number one, why it is so important to have that clarity in your business overall and for your clients on the opposite end of your business. And then two, how to implement clarity within your content in your business, okay? One of the things that I have really infused inside of our Content for Bosses course is that very thing. It is that point of clarity. And the reason why I've done that, guys, is because, again, that is the thing that it sounds so simple, but it's one thing that is missing just a lot overall in business. And so I want to start off, with something that is very, very important. And that is, I want you to just think about what is the definition of clarity. So when we think about the definition of clarity, the one thing that comes to mind for most people, for myself, is, and this is actually how it's defined in the dictionary. So clarity is defined, guys, by the quality of being coherent and intelligible, right? Or the quality of transparency and purity. So what does it really mean for you and for your business to really be transparent? When you think about transparency, transparency means that you are giving the person on the opposite end, your customer, right? You're giving your customer upfront information about what it is that they're going to get from working with you. So as a result of working with me, you will receive, and then you fill in the blank. Now, if I was to ask you right now, just straight off the bat, what would I receive by working with you? What would you say to me? And you can type that below if you know that, right? What would you say? As a result of working with me, I will receive. What is that thing that someone would receive? And I want you to type that below. And the reason why, I want this to be interactive, but the reason why, guys, is because so many individuals describe that in a kind of weird way. And so when you're thinking about what you want that person, your customer, to receive, you don't want to describe that in a description type of way. You want it to be very, very specific, right? You want it to be so specific that they're able to measure it. So you can say something like, as a result of working with me, you will increase your profits by 50% within the first 90 days of our coaching program. Now, what does that say? Let's just take that blanket statement just as its whole. If you tell someone within the first 90 days of working with me, you will increase your revenue, your income by 50%. So that's telling me, if I'm on the opposite end of that, that's automatically telling me that if I'm now making $50,000, I should be expecting to actually increase that income by 50%, right? And so I should know that I at least should be making $75,000 at the end of my 90 days. So I know that I have some type of measurement. I have some type of trigger, some type of result that I can quantify in my mind and that I can attach to the success that I'm going to get as a result of working with you. Now that sounds very, very different than if I said to you, as a result of working with me in my coaching program, you're going to create a successful coaching business. Very different, because that could mean anything, right? That could mean that I wrote a book. That could mean that I started my business. Like, that could mean anything. It is not specific. And so when you are creating content and when you're creating your programs and you're creating your services, listen to me. You have got to be specific about those key deliverables on the back end of what you're creating for your clients overall in their business. A lot of times people get caught up in all of the other stuff before they actually perfect the true value that they're providing for their clients that's wrapped up in their products and that's wrapped up in their services. And so I want to do an exercise right now. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop into our Facebook group really quickly. And the exercise that I actually want to do is, it's going to be good. All right. So in the comments right now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write out 3 specific terms that add value to your clients, right? So for example, I just gave you the example that I will create a 50% increase in your income simply by you coaching with me. Like, that is an example. So what would that be? So for example, if your result, maybe you are not a coach, right? Like maybe you are someone that, maybe you are a chef. So that looks very, very different, right? Maybe you are a transformational like weight loss coach. That looks very different. Then you may be talking about body weight percentage. If you are someone that is more so working with individuals on writing books, you could have a deliverable that is getting their book done faster or making the process simpler. But what is that value that is number one? All right, write this down. This is what you want to ask yourself. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, what is the value that is going to set me apart from my competition? What is the value that is going to set me apart from my competition? And once you truly understand that, you will be able to kind of fill in the other areas. Now, let me tell you this. The only way you're truly going to know about defining the competition in the marketplace is to do your research, okay? That's the only way that you're going to know that. So if you don't do the research, how will you know, right? And so I thought that it would be good for me to kind of break down a little bit of information about this. So when you think about competition in marketing, there are some specific types that I want you to think about. The first type that I want you to think about is called a direct competitor. Now, a direct competitor, guys, they really offer the same products and services, and they're aimed at the same target market and customer base that you are aimed at, right? So these are individuals that are doing the same thing that you're doing. They're probably selling the same things that you're doing. And they're also targeting the same exact audience that you are targeting, right? And so they probably also maybe even distribute their products the same. So when you're thinking about your competitors in your business, and when you're thinking about the competitors for your brand overall, you really want to ask yourself, who are the people in my same space? And what does that look like? Because it's highly likely that there are some in the space. And if you even break that down to who are the people on social media doing the same exact things that I am doing, right? Hi, Tori, right? Then those are your direct competitors. And I'll tell you that if you don't know who your direct competitors are, how do you know how you're priced, right? Like, how do you truly know if you're priced good, or if you know where you are in the marketplace? Your pricing can depend on some different things, but it's a good way to kind of get an idea, right? Now, that's the first. The second type of competitor is your indirect competitors. Your indirect competitor is a company that offers the same products and services, kind of like, the direct competitors, but their end goal is different. So maybe they are seeking to grow their revenue strategy a little bit different than how you are, right? And so that is the difference, of course, between your indirect and your direct competitors. And so if you don't really understand, what that looks like for your business, then I would highly, highly recommend that you take the time and you do the research to figure that out. Because what you're going to find is that not only is that going to assist you with pricing, but that is going to also assist you with how you are showing up in the marketplace and from a branding perspective. And also it will allow you to see who actually needs your services and if you should add on anything in your business as well, right? So I think a lot of times where we kind of fall short on is understanding and actually taking the time to do the research. And there's literally no way around that, right? And so I want you guys, if you need to do that, definitely take that time and do that. All right, so let's get back to the clarity. All right, so there's 8 different questions that I want you guys to ask yourself to really gain clarity in your business, and that will also assist you in gaining clarity to help you write your content and to be consistent with your message overall in your content as well. All right, so you guys ready? If you don't have a notebook, definitely you want to grab your notebook. So if you're just joining, I'm going to welcome you to our January Masterclass. Each month, I come on and I teach content about various topics of business. This month, we are focusing all about clarity. And then I will be posting actually the topics that we'll be focusing on for the remaining of the year, just so you'll have that and you can, and the dates as well. So you will have all of that for your calendar. But what I want to really make sure that you guys really understand is that there is no way around doing the work, right? Like a lot of times people try to skip the work. They try to go from A to Z. Like there are no shortcuts, right? And so as I am giving you guys these questions, the one thing that I want you to really, really focus in on is and I'll try to include all of these questions as a download later for you guys. If you want to grab them, you'll be able to download those questions. But the important components here is really for you to make sure that you understand, guys, how to implement and how to kind of define the specifics of these questions for your business and in your brand. So here's number one. Number one is, who is your customer? Who is your customer? And not only who is your customer, but how do you describe your target customer? Right? So how are you describing your target customer and who is your customer in the marketplace? That is the first question. So you can write that down. I want you to think through that. And then I will definitely make sure that you guys have your workbook so that you will be able, of course, to journal these as well, okay? So who is your customer? Describe your target customer. That is the first question, okay? The second question is, what makes you different? Like, what truly makes you different? What truly makes you stand out in the marketplace? What allows you to do what you do, but if 5 other people were standing by you, you want the masses to still flock to you? What is that unique it factor that defines you? The third question is, how do others see you? Like, that is actually a very profound question. How do others see you? Number 4 is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Okay? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And then number 5 is, where do you want to be in 5 years? Another way that you could ask yourself that question is, where do you want your business to be in 5 years? You know, I often like to kind of reflect to say, where have I grown in 5 years? So 5 years, you know, if you've been around that long, and 5 years ago, my business was at XYZ point, and now it's at this point. Where have you grown in 5 years? And number 6 is, what is your big why? I mean, why are you doing the things that you're doing? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? Number 7 is, what do you really want to be doing? Because a lot of times our business can grow. It can go from point A to point Z, and we look up and we don't know why. But why? You know, what do you really want to be doing in your business? Are there some things you need to shift? Are there some things you need to change? What does that actually look like? And what do you need to do right now to make sure that you're getting there, more importantly? And then number 8 is, how much do you need and want to make in your business? Oh gosh, that's a major one. How much do you need and want to make in your business? That is a good question, because if you don't really define that, you won't necessarily have that target to kind of hit, right? So I would want you to really take some time and to really answer those questions. Really answer those questions. And here's what I will also say. I know that sometimes it's very difficult to take those questions, answer them, and kind of find like what are the next like best steps for you to do. And so one of the things that I want to challenge you with is, even if you're not a part of Content for Bosses, I want to challenge you to really take that time and journal those questions. But not only even that, I also, guys, want to challenge you to make sure that in doing that, that you also consider joining us inside of Content for Bosses. One of the things that I'm really excited about just for Content for Bosses is that you are not only going to get the content inside of the membership platform, but you're getting so much more. You're getting the master classes, you're getting the weekly question and answer sessions, and just so much more. And so I want to make sure that you guys are plugged in, that you're engaged, and that you really honor that space, and that when you invest, that you actually show up and put in the work. That's really important. So if you guys are able and you are really ready to dive in, and not only for your business, but for personal development as well, then I highly recommend that you join us inside of our Content for Bosses community. It is a literally all online coaching platform. You get your own login to join us inside of the community, join us inside of the coaching program. And it is filled with amazing resources and tools for you to not only create really amazing content, but for you to really do so in a way that is going to allow you to up-level all areas of your business. So want you to definitely make sure that you join us, and make sure that you stay tuned for some additional information that we have coming soon about that as well. All right, so wanted to just share that here with you guys. And if you have any questions about any of the content that I've shared today for our masterclass, please post them below. And again, I will be posting our workbook as well as a replay to our masterclass that will be posted later on today, okay? So I want to thank you guys so much for joining us for our January masterclass. I hope that you found it to be very beneficial. So this first masterclass, guys, was live here within our community, but our subsequent masterclasses will be exclusively on Zoom, okay? And so I will go ahead and put our February masterclass up, so that you guys will be able to go ahead and sign up for that and get that on your schedule. But it will be exclusively on Zoom, so it won't be live like it is here now, okay? All right, so listen, I love you guys much. We'll make sure all that information is in our community for you. Definitely click that link and join us inside of Content for Bosses. And if you have any other questions, I'm happy to, as always, to answer them for you. All right, I hope that you guys have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.